present here. It is my privilege to welcome Dr. Vishesh Ranjan sir and Tamara Tripathi ma'am. So for today's session, our expert talk is by Dr. Vishesh Ranjan sir. Dr. Vishesh Ranjan sir is presently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Jamshedpur since 2018. He has over 14 years of teaching, research and industrial experience. He received his doctoral degree from NIT Rourkela in the year 2015 under the guidance of Professor S.K. Panda sir in the field of computational solid mechanics. His research interests are nonlinear finite element method, advanced composite structures, computational mechanics, and shape optimization. So far, he authored and co-authored over 110 research articles in peer-reviewed journals, books, and conferences in the field of modeling and analysis of composite structures. He is also the editorial board member of Scientific Reports, the Journal of Mechanical Behaviors of Materials, the Archives of Advanced Engineering Science and Green Technology. He has completed and is still continuing various research projects as a principal investigator and co-PI funded by government and private agencies. So far, he has guided 6 PhD thesis dissertation and presently there are 8 research scholars working under his supervision. He is the recipient of Research Award 2016 from VIT University, Vellore, India, Early Career Research Award 2017 from the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and also received Research Scientist and Research Award from the various national and international agencies. He has been recognized as one of the top 2% scientists in the world published by Elsevier by Stanford University, US for the year 2021, 2022 and 2023. He has been portrayed in Who's Who in Engineering Higher Education and Cell Buckling People. He is recognized reviewer of many reputed international journals in the field of composite structures. He is the lifetime member of Indian Society for Applied Mechanics, Institute of Engineers India, and few other national and international engineering scientists. Apart from teaching and research activities, he has undertaken various administrative activities like Associate Dean, Research and Consultancy from the year 2020 to 2022 in NIT Jamshedpur, Nodal Officer of NIRF for the year 2023 and 2024 for the NIT Jamshedpur. Now, welcoming you, sir. Please come. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam, for this introduction. Good morning, everyone here, present here, and the faculty members of AutoJet University, and the participant and the student. Yeah. Am I audible? Last. Thank you again, and special thanks to the coordinators of this program, Atal MD, Dr. Ashwini Kumar and Dr. Anup Kumar sir, for inviting me in this offline FTP program. And I believe all the participants are here offline. So in context of the title of this activity, learning towards the advanced concept in Industry 4.0 for sustainable growth, and specifically we say it is for the smart manufacturing. Whenever we done Industry 4.0, starting from 1.0, then 2, 3, 4, and now moving ahead to the 5.0. So it is related to smart manufacturing only. And if you focus on smart manufacturing, there are many folds. Mostly we believe that if we go to shop floor, that is only the manufacturing. I know all believe that only, but it is not like that. We start from the manufacturing start always from the, you can say, sketchbook. It is the journey from sketchbook to the market. So as I mentioned, why this smart manufacturing requires this modeling and simulation. And the main focus of this modeling and simulation is on the material and structure side. Because if we want any product, you can make any product. You can take example of this ceiling fan, or this projector, or this highlighter. It is a product. And if we want to fabricate this product, we have to start from the rough sketch of this product. What should be the shape? What should be the material? What is the function? And what should be the durability? Okay, performance and durability we can say. So here, most of the time, the configuration, or you can say shape of the structure or the component is almost fixed. We cannot change the configuration or shape of the structure. If I take this highlighter itself, it should not be like 1 meter long. It should be handy. If you consider ergonomics, correct? It should be handy, easy to use. So proportionally, the shape of this and the dimension of this highlighter should be like, we can say almost 7 to 8 centimeter. Okay, and its cross section also. Correct? So after that, if we focus on the other part, that is material. So for this, you can say, yeah, it is made up of plastic. Yes. And if I take the example of any other product, let's say chair, normal chair. So previously you find chair made up of steel, then wood, then plastic. Now it's now composite also. Correct? If you go outside in garden area, you will find chairs are made up of concrete, cement. Okay? The purpose is same, function is same, but as per the requirement and almost the shape and configuration also same. But as per the requirement, we can change the material. So most of the researchers find flexibility to choose appropriate material for that specific application. So here in this session, we will discuss about the advanced material. And if I say advanced material, then we mostly focus on the composite materials and also some heterogeneous material, because as we say, as we consider any conventional material, specifically if we focus on engineering materials, the nature of that material will be homogeneous and isotropic. Okay? Those who have studied steps of material, they can understand better. The complete mechanics of solid strength of material is based on the isotropic and homogeneous material. But if I take any advanced material, the nature won't be the same as we consider in our theory subjects. Instead of isotropic, it will move towards anisotropic, it will be orthotropic. Instead of homogeneous body, it will move towards heterogeneity. Okay, non-homogeneous. So before going to the fabrication of those kind of material, first we should know how those materials behave and how we can model that material. Correct? Because as we know, whether it is Industry 4.0 smart manufacturing, the cost is the yes. If we compare from the conventional manufacturing to the smart manufacturing, the cost will be on higher side always. Okay. So if we do some experiment on the manufacturing side, then it will be very difficult for the manufacturer. So to reduce those costs, what we can do, computationally we can model, mathematically also, theoretically also, we can model and we can simulate the material and its behavior, subjected to different type of conditions, boundary conditions and loading conditions. So that is the main purpose of doing modeling and simulation of specific material, specifically you will say it's advanced material, and these structures, because the shape of the structure is very important. It will mix this material and shape, configuration. So that is called structure. Okay? So here my purpose is to show the design challenges and targets. As we are focusing mainly on the modeling and simulation side for the smart manufacturing, so always we should focus on the challenges and targets for the design of that material and structure. So here on the left side you can see the deciding factors, including the applied load, loading condition you can see, the geometry and dimension. Already we discussed about the configuration of any structure, the material we will use for that component of the structure. On the right hand side you will find the performance indices, including the functionality and look. You can say the purpose and the aesthetic, or economics and aesthetic, and life, that is durability of the structure or component. Then economics, cost effectiveness. So here, why these are the deciding factors? Why we should consider these three as a deciding factor for component design? Okay, we will discuss one by one. purpose.
That will fulfill the purpose because we want strength, we want the actual thing to be there. But these things are what you call aligning to that. It's ergonomics, economics, later on we can.
Okay. So, Dr. Souvik is rightly said about the purpose, and in context of that, if you want to extend that one, if you take any component, you can take any daily use component also. Let's say the chairs. Okay. Load is almost fixed. The type of load. The purpose of the chair is to carry certain amount of load. Let's say in between 50 kg to 150 kg or 200 kg. Okay. And for mechanical engineer, we have one mass plate. Generally, in my classroom also, I say all these things. For mechanical engineers, always we have one mass. What is that? Factor of safety. FOS, like SOS. Save our soul. And FOS is factor of safety. So that is mass for us. Because by using appropriate factor of safety, we can easily design any component and we can avoid the failure also. Okay? So here, if you take this first point, applicable load or applied load on a particular structure or component. So almost the condition will be known to you. Whenever we solve any problem, whether it is of engineering mechanics or strength of material or design of machine element, generally that part will be known to you. The applied load, type of load, applied, the amount of load, whether it is a concentrated load, distributed load, pressure, okay, and amount also. So here we can say we cannot do anything about this applied load. It is not in our hand. Correct? Now, second, geometry and dimension. Geometry or dimension or configuration, you can say. Configuration of any component. Let's say we took example of this pointer. So, as I said, mostly it will be confined. It is confined. Okay? It is of let's say 10 centimeter. The diameter is almost 0.5 centimeter square. Let's say. Okay? So, here, in most of the cases, you cannot do much on geometry, on this configuration side, you can see. Okay. Now come to the third part, material. As we have seen different components made up of, or you can say you take any specific component made up of different material. Okay? Just 5 minutes back I gave one example, like chair example. So it is made up of steel, maybe made up of wood, concrete, plastic. Okay? So here, now most of the time we can select appropriate material for the component which has certain dimension and subjected to applied load. So using this, now we have to ensure all these performance indices. Okay. First is the functionality and look. What is the function of that component? That should be there. Okay, and look, aesthetic. Then life, it is durability. It is not like use and throw. If I am using this pointer, if I am using this mic, color mic, or any component or any structure, okay, or any equipment machine. So always we should know what is the durability of that, along with the performance. functionality. Function. What is the function of this component? And what should be the durability? In most of the product you can see the life of the product is this much hours. Okay, 10,000 hours. If you run this component, the equipment for 10,000 hours, that component will survive. Okay. Then economics, the cost of the product. So sometimes you need to compromise with this. If cost is very high and your target, that means the manufacturer target is the middle class people, let's say. Then they will try to just make that product in that range. It should not beyond the range of the middle class. Okay, so I think all of you know about the mass production, mass production. So the purpose of that, like Mercedes cars generally is the customized one. Okay, if you give order, then they will yes, they will manufacture from their end as per your requirement. But you will not find like in every cities there will be like showroom of Mercedes or any very high range cars. Okay, so based on the customer, this should also be the major parameter. Okay, the performance should be included always in the performance indices. Now, moving to the engineering material hierarchy. As we know, why I am saying engineering material only? There are different categories. Okay. So we are only focusing on the engineering materials. So starting from the conventional metals, then the metal alloys, then slowly we move towards plastics. Then currently we are in the era of composites. Starting from the laminates, conventional composite, we generally say it is a laminates only. Okay. Also, particulates you will find. Those who are studying composite probably they know this classification. And we have one more very advanced material, that is functionally graded material. So we will discuss about this. Okay. And probably you know the application of all the advanced materials. Specifically, if we focus on composite materials, then everywhere, whether it is automobile, road safety devices, helmet, sports technology, okay, then all defense purpose, marine industry, space, defense, aerospace, okay, and also civil structures, energy sectors. So everywhere you find the application of composite material. So now let us start with the very conventional composite, that is called laminated composite. Probably those who have not studied composite specifically, they know about the laminate. Generally we go to any stationery shop, give the laminated files something. Okay, that means laminate is nothing but it is bunch of layers. If you stack layers over each other, you will find a complete laminate. Okay. So the same analogy was taken to prepare laminated composite also. Okay, where a certain number of layers are stuck together. Okay, sometimes by keeping this orientation constant, means if we have layers like this, okay, and let's say this is zero angle, x direction, x, y, and z. So if I keeping one layer like this, second also like this, let's say we have 10 layers of individual layer, then we can say, and by some process, if we combine together, we combine these layers together, then we can say it is a laminate. Sometimes we can change the orientation also. One layer like this, second layer like this, third layer like this. You can change the orientation. And those who worked on this particular laminated composite, they have seen by changing the orientation of the layers, it will directly affect the overall stiffness and strength of the composite. Okay. Also, here if we change the material of layers, initially if you have identical layers, means layers made up of same material. Okay. Most of the time people use glass epoxy. Okay. In composite there are two parts. One is fiber and second is matrix. Okay. So if we mix these two, fiber and matrix, then we will get one lamina or single layer. Correct? And there are different categories also. In the fibers, there are short fiber, there are long fiber, flances are there. Okay. So I am not going in detail of the different type of fiber. And matrix is to just to support the fibers and to give a appropriate shape. And the purpose of matrix is just to bind the fibers. Okay. So here, one can take first layer made up of glass, epoxy, second layer, let's say material, carbon, third layer again glass or graphite or any other material, lamina. So that could also be a possibility. Like we can take number of layer of different material in different orientation, 0, 90, 45 or different orientation. It will directly affect the stiffness and strength. And when I say stiffness, specifically those who are from mechanical engineering background, stiffness is directly connected to the performance of the structure and the strength is directly connected to the durability of the structure. Okay. So by considering those parameters, we can change the performance and durability. Okay, as per the requirement. But the major problem of the conventional composite is that the delamination. Okay, here we can see delamination is the separation of layer, because what we are doing, we are simply stacking layers over each other. Okay, so sometimes it happens in the presence of high temperature or high pressure or in combination. There may be chance of separation of layer, that is called delamination. Okay, and once you find delamination in the particular composite, then it will move towards the catastrophic failure. Correct? To avoid that failure, it should not delaminate. there won't be any separation of layer at all. But so that's why to avoid this limitation, people have originated that this functionally graded material is there without the delineation, and the concept is that the material is changing from one surface to another surface. Okay, because here you won't find any layers. In layers, what exactly you find? Here also, if I take I think 4-5 pages are there. Okay, you can say these are 4 layers and completely it is a one laminate. So if I apply, let's say if I apply shear load, then there is a chance of delamination. Okay, so if I have layer, distinct layer, then there is a chance of failure. But if I remove the layers itself, like graded materials, so here you won't find any layers. Okay, if you don't have layers, and in between the layers always you will find some interlaminar stress. Okay, so the cause of the failure is the interlaminar stress only. There are different types of stresses we studied, and specifically we use that stress term here. We use interlaminar stress. Okay, in between the layers. So the concept of FGM is not new. The scientists, I think what I remember, way back early 80s, some Japanese scientists had conceptualized this material by just taking the analogy of our skin or bones. Okay, human skin, bones, and also the bamboo structure जो बांस हम बोलते हैं. So what is the property of the skin, bones? The density is not throughout same. If you take bone material, if you take skin, okay, so density is changing from one surface to other surface. Okay, so by taking the same analogy, those researchers developed, first got that concept and then developed this functionally graded material. Okay, and here in this picture you can see two different type of material. It is a combination of two different type of material. One is the metal and second is the ceramic. So it is like that. On the one side, okay, let's say this is a thickness direction, thickness of this plate, and this is the bottom face and this is the top face. Okay, so as per the requirement, we can keep the metal rich face at the bottom side and gradually it will move towards ceramic side. Okay, why we should do this? What is the purpose? By changing material from one side to one surface to other surface, what should be the purpose? And why we are taking very, you can say, distinct material, metal and ceramic. The nature is totally different. Why? Yes? Environment. Okay. So, yes, anyone?
Flexibility. The flexibility.
Flexibility. So, I got one answer. environment by just observing the environment, or you can say condition, operating condition, correct? And flexibility. We have flexibility to accommodate this material. Okay. I think everyone know about furnace. Okay. So just tell me, in general, in conventional furnace, what material generally use? Bricks inside. Inside the furnace, we generally use bricks. Okay. It's a ceramic only, correct? And outside, metal. Okay. But you will find a separation. Correct? It is separated. Both the you can say the inner structure and the outer structure is separated. Correct? Okay. In furnace, because most of the time it is the nature is, you can say the mechanical condition is normal. Only the you will find the temperature is very high. So you may compromise with that structure. But if you have some moving object like spacecraft, okay, in the spacecraft or any moving object you will find high pressure, high temperature. So in that case, if you will take two different entity, like one ceramic, one side ceramic, one side metal, then what will happen? What exactly happened in Columbia disaster in 2011? Generally, the spacecraft, what they use? Tiles, ceramic tiles. Okay, those ceramic tiles were pasted directly because I think you people know the condition of the re-entry. Escape velocity, re-entry temperature. Okay, escape velocity, what is that? Escape velocity, it's 11 km per second. Yes, almost in the range of 11 to 12 km per second. And what is the re-entry temperature? If you leave the environment, then what should be the temperature? 30? Yeah, it is in the range of almost 1500 degrees Celsius to 2000 degrees Celsius. Okay. So, in that condition, you will find high pressure as well as, because of velocity, high pressure, and temperature, obviously, so high temperature. So, to address that complex condition, and we must have a specific material which should sustain those under those complex conditions, high temperature as well as high pressure. Okay. So here, instead of two different entities, if we club together this metal and ceramic, then there won't be any separation at all. Okay. So there are different application of FGM specifically. If we take example of biomedical also, is FGM inspired dental implant. Okay. Few scientists in Japan, is, I think if I am not wrong, it is Institute of Medical Research. Okay. So they developed one FGM dental implant. Then I think most of you know about this B-2 stealth bomber from US Air Force. So few components they are preparing using FGM type material. It was not, they didn't disclose, but in few articles they mentioned. And for the, you can say, bulletproof type structures we can use. So NTU, Nanyang Technical University, Singapore, in one research lab they conducted two experiments. One experiment using normal steel plate second, using HGM plate, machine grading plate. So now you can see the result. Two hole, okay. So bullet impact, you can see. Here you find this is a steel plate and this is a HGM plate. So here you find the through hole and here only you can say swelling phenomena you can see. So now after that, sorry. After that, okay, this is a very unique material. This is very a situation where we have high temperature, high pressure. We can use this material, but how we can use? So before using, one should know the mechanical property, the material property of this unique material, advanced material. Okay. So here, and specifically if we say the modeling of that material, so in past many researchers have given some empirical equations, also derived some formula to find out the effective material property, because it is not like one single material. We are dealing with two different materials. One is metal and another one is ceramic. And the properties are varying from one surface to another surface. Okay? So it is a heterogeneous material. It is not homogeneous material. Correct? And metal and ceramic, you can consider both are isotropic. So altogether it will be isotropic. So now you shifted from one isotropic and homogeneous material to isotropic and heterogeneous material, and here the heterogeneity is in only one direction. Okay, later we will see how we can increase the order of heterogeneity also. So here I will not take much time on these equations, okay, because you can see surfaces like once we open any PPT with equations, so it's very difficult for most of us to understand at the same time. Okay, later on you can take notes and then you can understand. But at the same time it's very difficult because always we think about mathematical interpretation, on the other side physical interpretation. Correct? So sometimes we could able to connect that mathematical to the physical interpretation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So you can just check these equations. This is for the material property, and mostly I have taken here the generalized material property. So P stands for any material property. You can say elastic property, say Young's modulus or Poisson's ratio, or you can take yes, thermal property also, coefficient of thermal expansion, thermal conductivity. So any property. So people have derived this earlier by taking some experimental data. So that's why it is a empirical formula. Okay. Now this is very important because we are dealing with two different material. So we must know about the volume fraction or the weight fraction of individual materials, ingredients of that composite. One side we have material, other side we have ceramic. Okay. So what should be the proportion? Whether, let's say, if I want to prepare 1 kg of slab, I want to prepare one plate structure. Plate is very common structure, so that's why I am giving example of plate structure. Let's say the weight of the plate is 1 kg and the ingredients are metal and ceramic. So whether we should take 50-50, 50% let's say 0.5 kg metal or 0.5 kg ceramic, or any other proportion we can think of. So here again, as per the requirement, where you want to frame that component based on the condition, it will directly reflect to the condition. In the starting slides, we discussed about the deciding factor. So again, we have to check the applied load, applicable load. Okay. So that proportion we will decide based on the applied load. So here, as you know, the total volume fraction will be one only. Fraction, we are taking in fraction. Okay, volume of metal divided by total volume, or you can take weight fraction also. Okay, those who are dealing with the particle formulations, they generally use volume fraction, and those who are dealing with the experimental test, they generally use weight fractions, because it is easy to capture the weight instead of volume. Correct? So we can take volume also, weight also. So here there are different gradation rule, distribution rule, how we can grade one material, that is metal, along the thickness, also the ceramic. Okay, using this volume fraction. Okay, I'm not detailing. You can find the overall property. You can compute the effective property of that functionally graded material, which is comprised of metal and ceramic. Okay. So here you can see this P. It's in general any property. It's a function of temperature, as we had taken temperature dependent metal property, and function of thickness coordinate. As the material is varying from one surface to another surface, that to bottom surface to the top surface in thickness direction only. So that's why it is dependent on the thickness coordinate. So here property of ceramic, volume fraction of ceramic, and property of metal, volume fraction of metal. So that relation is known as Vogel's micromechanical model, or you can say simple rule of mixing. Okay. So it is like P1 V1 plus P2 V2 plus and so on Pn Vn. If you have, let's say, n materials with you, so in composites generally we can use simple rule of mixture and we can find the overall property. Okay, but it is, you can say, it will give you the result in very average sense. Correct? So simply by taking the property of individual material and its volume fraction, then you can find the overall property. Correct? And then simply we will impose this here, the effective material property of the HGL will look like this. Yeah, now we can understand how the gradation happens. So here on the left side you can see variation of volume fraction of ceramic. Okay. So always the volume fraction will move from 0 to 1. If volume fraction of ceramic is 0, that means it is pure metal. Now the functionally graded metal is converted to metal, pure metal, 100% metal, 0% ceramic. Okay. And if the volume fraction of ceramic is 1, that means 100% ceramic and 0% metal. Correct? So here on the horizontal line you can see it is representing P thickness. Okay, bottom face to top face. So how it is varying? Okay, so we have considered different volume fraction index N, that is N. Okay, by which you can control here. This is known as volume fraction index or power law index. Okay, the purpose of this power law index is to just control the material distribution across the thickness. That means the distribution will be like this. If I take N is equal to 1, that means here you will find 50% metal, 50% ceramic. Okay, it will move towards 0. It will move towards 0. That means it will be more ceramic rich. It will move to beyond 1, and greater than 1. It will be more metal rich. Correct? So you can say it is a controlling parameter. Correct? So likewise, just here for the metal, it will be a mirror image. Okay? So now, by taking the same analogy of the FGM where metal properties are varying from bottom surface to top surface, that means in thickness direction, and you have different direction also. In previous case, we simply take the thickness direction where the metal properties are like the metal gradations are from one surface, bottom surface to the top surface, and you will have material variation in different direction as per the requirement. If the situation is or you can say if any component or structure subjected to very complex loading, say from front side you have high temperature, right side of the component ambient temperature, then on the left side, okay, because if you see any structure, you can take example of fin type structures. So in different faces, different edges, the loading will be different. Okay. Either we can have one an initial material, that means we can use isotropic and homogeneous throughout, or we can use heterogeneous, and that heterogeneity will be in particular direction, in z direction or x direction, or we can take in different directions, the variation of material property. So here researchers have then developed different type of functionally graded material by varying material property in different directions. Okay. So as in generally we have 3 directions. If we consider a partition coordinate system x, y, z. Okay. So if we have variation, the material variation in x direction, so simply we can term that FGM is x FGM. Okay. The previous case we could term as z FGM, right? Because the material properties are varying in z direction, thickness direction. If in longitudinal direction or axial direction, if variation is there, then, but again, if this is the material, then how we can find the material property? So before finding the overall material property of that specific material, in this case XRGM, first we should target to compute the volume fraction of each ingredient, that is ceramic and metal. So here, by taking the same power law distribution model, we can take that it will be a ratio of the direction coordinate and the total length. Okay, and here we have again power law index. So likewise, we can find the volume fraction of this x axiom. Similarly, instead of x or z, if we have material variation in only y direction, okay, transverse direction basically. So for that also we can prove like this, the volume fraction again, both for ceramic and metal. And as usual, z axiom already we have seen in the previous case. So these three, x axiom, y axiom and z axiom, are under 1D axioms, unidirectional axioms, okay, where material properties are varying in only one direction. Then later on, once we have the volume fraction of the individual ingredients, then we can find the overall property by using same simple rule of mixture. Now, instead of any one direction, if we change the material property in any two directions, okay, so here you will find three planes, xy, yz and zx. Okay, so here if we have a material where the material properties axiom where the material properties are varying in any two direction simultaneously, so how we can find the material property? So again, first find the volume fraction. Okay. So now it is a combination of two. It is, you can see, just check. In previous case, volume fraction was function of only one variable, x, either x or y or z. Okay, so you can see the dependency. Now in second case, where we are taking bidirectional or 2D axiom, here it is depend on two variables, two directions, xy, yz and xz. Okay, so we are increasing the order of heterogeneity, you can see, by doing this. And once you have all the volume fractions, later on you can find the overall property or effective properties of this xy, yz and zx. And lastly, if we have complete heterogeneous material, where material properties are varying in all directions simultaneously, in x direction, in y direction and in z direction, then this time you can see the volume fraction is depend on three variables, three coordinates, x, y and z. Okay, so that much parameter you will find. Here you will find three power law indices that will control the material distribution in particular direction. So here Nx is responsible the variation of material in x direction, Ny is controlling in y direction, Nz in z direction. So likewise, and the range of x. If here we have taken dimension of this structure, side, length a, b and thickness h. Okay, so x will vary from 0 to a, let's say 0 to a, y will vary from 0 to b and z will vary from, because we have considered mid plane, so it will vary from minus h by 2 to plus h by 2. Okay, total thickness is h. Then we can find the properties, different properties, whether it is elastic property, thermal property or physical property of that highly heterogeneous material. Whether it is Young's modulus, Poisson's ratio, density and also coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, so here you will find that overall property will be combination of property of the individual material and the volume fraction. So always it is very important to find, to calculate the volume fraction of the specific composite. So you can say by looking this equation, it is very simple. platform like you can take any commercial software for that, or you can write your own algorithm in any language platform like MATLAB. Okay, so you have to give some effort to model this. Okay, along with this formula. So in general, we discussed about different type of material, specifically metal and ceramic. And in metal we can take metal alloy. It's not like always you have to consider metal. Okay, so you may have a combination of metal and ceramic, or metal alloy and ceramic. Okay, so you can take stainless steel and titanium alloy, metal side, ceramic side you can take silicon nitride and zirconia. Okay, so there are different metals also, the metals also for metals as well as for ceramic. So whenever you take metal and ceramic, so you need to check the compatibility of those materials. Okay, mostly the temperature, melting point. Now we have completed one part, that is the how we can model any specific material, that is the advanced material, highly heterogeneous material. Okay, and after that we have model, because two terms are there, modeling and simulation. Now the second part is how we can simulate this. That means in simulation what generally we do, we try to capture the behavior, or you can say performance of the structure. Okay, so here again generally we start from the constitutive equations that will provide you the relation between the stress and the strain by including the material matrix. Okay, so here in this material matrix, this one, whatever property you calculated from the previous slides. Okay, from the previous slides, let's say if I calculated so if I calculated Young's modulus of this highly heterogeneous material, that is PDFGM, and also Poisson's ratio. So I can now use this to frame the material matrix. Okay, so now I can use this. So here just this capital X represent any variable, individual or in combination. It may be X or Y or Z, or XY, YZ, ZX, or XYZ altogether. Okay, so now it is completely heterogeneous, you can see. Now again there are different type of thermal fields you can adapt based on the condition. Okay. In reality you will find this condition where we have to include thermal conductivity, but to simplify the problem, generally we can relax this model from nonlinear temperature distribution to linear or sometimes uniform. Correct? So how much effort you want to give in your problem, also how much accuracy you want. So as per the accuracy, you can take the temperature field. Okay. You may aware of different type of loading condition, mechanical loading condition. Those who have studied mechanics, especially mechanics of solid, you are aware of point load, concentrated load, distributed load. Okay. So those conditions you can take as per the requirement. You can take any plate and you can impose loading condition on the opposite plate. Okay, so any type of load you can take. So mathematically, those figures you can see here, uniformly distributed load over the surface, then uniformly distributed line load, only a particular line, let's say the mid line, you have distributed load. Then sinusoidal load also. You have, I think, observed the aeroplane wing. Okay, so generally for any aeroplane there are three conditions. One is takeoff, second is cruise, and third is landing. Okay, so during takeoff and landing, the pressure profile won't be same, won't be constant. Probably during cruise phase it will be constant. Okay, so that pressure profile we can take like during cruise it will be a constant pressure, during takeoff, during landing, pressure on the airplane wing will be sinusoidal or whatever best possibility to mimic that pressure profile close to the sinusoidal or any transcendental form you can take. Okay. So in equation form you can see this. Yeah. So once you have the constructive relation, always you should calculate the energy, different type of energy, starting from the strain energy, then the total work done, subjected to temperature and load, applied load. Okay. Also, you can find the kinetic energy. Okay. The purpose of calculating all this energy is to just build a equilibrium equation. Or you can say first you will have governing equation and then you will have equilibrium equation. Okay. Then we can take any appropriate method. You can take the problem as it is. That means how you did in your classroom. If you have a problem, then mathematically you solve. Theoretically, you just you adapted theoretical equations and you just completed your problem. You got solution. But that was very simple case. The geometry was very simple. Let's say if I take example of cantilever beam. The geometry is a straight beam. Okay. Cross section is also very simple. Circular or rectangular or any regular cross section. Then material also isotropic and homogeneous. Loading also very simple, point load. So you can say applied load is simple, material is simple, configuration is simple. For that, exact solution or closed form solution is possible. But once you have one complex problem, and that complex problem, if I am saying, the complexity may be in the material, the complexity may be in the geometry, or maybe in the loading case. Okay. So for that, people generally use some numerical technique. There are different numerical technique, but the most robust and popular numerical technique is the finite element method. Because you will find commercial software based on this FEM, whether it is ANSYS, Abacus. I think the final year students or some research students may be using those software in their projects and research. Okay, so then just we converted that classical equation to the, we just took those formula in FEM platform, okay, in elemental form. These are just all. Then finally we plugged all energies what we calculated earlier and we got one complete equilibrium equation. Okay. This is in element form and this is in system form. So here you can say this K is the stiffness matrix, Kg is the reduced to stress stiffness matrix. It is just because due to the in-plane disturbance. Okay. M is the mass matrix. Then this Fm and Fth are the load vectors, specifically due to mechanical load, and this is for the thermal. Okay. So this is a general form, And as per your requirement, if you want to conduct static analysis or you want to conduct dynamic analysis, say vibration analysis, or you want to conduct stability analysis, you can just operate appropriate current. Okay? Like, yeah, I will discuss later. For static bending or flexural analysis, simply we have to take stiffness term and the floor flatness, stiffness and force. These two terms are sufficient to conduct static analysis. For vibration analysis, we have to take stiffness overall and the mass matrix. So you will find you can if you solve this is the eigenvalue problem only, you will find eigen solution, eigenvalues and eigenvector that will provide you the frequencies, natural frequencies of that structure. Then stability, or you can say buckling analysis. So here you need to deal with stiffness matrix, the structural stiffness and the stress stiffness. So that will provide you the critical. Those who have studied buckling of column can connect with this formula. So before that, we had one slide. Okay. So these are for the support condition. Like I just gave one example of aeroplane wing. So what is the condition? Body condition or support condition? One side is fixed, other sides are free. Like in plates also, fan plate. Here plate, one end is fixed, other sides are free. Okay, so these are the support condition, body condition you can say. So as per the case or requirement, you can fix, simply supported, clamped, fully clamped, clamped, free. Okay, so there are different conditions. You can cross check what could be the effect of changing the body condition on the overall behavior, whether it is a flexural behavior or vibration behavior or stability behavior of the particular composite structure. So generally, if you are using any numerical technique, you should follow these four, specifically three, and last is the observation. 3 steps. One is the mesh refinement test. It is a very important test because we are dealing with the elements, number of elements. Okay. So this is the first one. To just check the appropriate size of the element, and the verification test. Now, I model material, I impose body condition, I impose loading condition. Okay, I created the geometry. So how I will ensure that whatever methodology I adapted is correct? Generally, in any research, we try to validate or verify our developed model. Okay, from the existing one, or sometime you parallelly you can conduct the experiments if you have those facility acquired. Okay, but in most of the cases it's very difficult to just call all 3M by machine material. We have 3M by machine material. If these three comes together, then only we can conduct any experiment. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay. So then we can rely on the published results, the results which were already published. Okay. So that verification is first before going to the next, that numerical illustration, demonstration. Okay. You have tested your model like, okay, this is correct, this is accurate, it is showing a good result. But after that, what you will do? Now you can check the response of that composite structure for different case parameters or conditions. Okay, you can change the body condition, you can change the loading condition, you can change the material ingredients. Okay, distribution also you can change. If you are not sure that okay, whether I should take XFGM or YFGM or XYZ FGM. So it's better if you have developed solution model. Then parallelly I can check the performance of XFGM, YFGM, ZFGM, whatever the classification I have. I can do this. Okay. Then you have to observe all those things carefully. Okay. So in the first stage, as I mentioned, simply here I have shown, I have taken all those 7 possibilities, heterogeneous model, starting from XFGM to XYZ FGM, 1D FGM, 3 1D FGMs, 3 2D bidirectional, and highly heterogeneous XYZ. Okay, so for uniform loading or sinusoidal or you can say non-uniform loading. So we can check the mesh density, that is called mesh refinement test. Then we will have verification test. Simply you can take appropriate problem, very relevant problem, what exactly you are targeting for your model. You just take from the literature, previous literature, and then you can validate this. Suppose if there is a problem, in first case, what we do? We try to take some other one. Try to take literature 1, literature 2, literature 3, or else we try to conduct the experiment at our end also. Still, if you are not getting accuracy, then recheck your model. If there is some problem in your model, recheck in pattern modeling, recheck the boundary condition you incorporated, recheck the geometrical configuration you provided, loading condition, and also the solution technique. Okay, sometimes you conduct a linear solution, sometimes you rely on the non-linear solutions. So all those checkpoints are there. You have to check one by one. If yes, if you have validated your work with the previous one, then well and good. You can move further for the parametric test. Means now how it will behave under different type of loading condition. Okay. So whether it is a deformation behavior, so this is for GM panel only, plate only, for different condition, body condition. All sides are simply supported, all sides are planned. Okay. So you can take different parameters, whatever parameters you have considered for while modeling your work. You can take and you can demonstrate the result here. Then you can do the free vibration test that will provide you the frequency, behavior. Here you can see the mode shifts, eigenvectors you can see, mode shifts at specific natural frequency, starting from first mode, then 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, for different cases. Okay. And you can also test for the stability behavior. That means for the critical load. Okay. Again, both the stability and vibration that come under eigenvalue problems. Okay. So likewise, you can simulate. So I think already I have taken 40 or 50 minutes. So now one by one we can, because I presented in 2 parts. One is the modeling of material and second part is the how we can simulate any structure by including the geometry, by including the boundary condition, by including the loading condition, and using any appropriate method. You can solve the problem critically as usual, or you can take help of any numerical technique. Okay. So if you have any query, any one of the part, you can ask.
सर पहले तो थैंक यू, आपने एक एडवांस मटेरियल को बहुत अच्छी तरीके से समझा दिया एफजीएम को। सर जब कभी भी हम स्मार्ट मटेरियल पे बात करते हैं तो दिमाग में ये हमेशा आता है कि जो शेप मेमोरी मटेरियल है या फिर सेल्फ हीलिंग मटेरियल है, तो उस टाइप के मटेरियल को क्या हम स्ट्रक्चर में इम्पोज कर सकते हैं?
Yeah, here I demonstrated related to your query. I demonstrated one complex material. Correct? You can term this material as smart material. Why? Because here we are using two different type of material. One is metal and ceramic. That means it is showing dual nature. But appropriately you have to accommodate that structure. ऐसा नहीं हो कि जहाँ पे टेम्परेचर हाई होगा वहाँ पर आपने मेटल को रख दिया तो क्या होगा, मेल्ट हो जाएगा। तो सिरामिक को रखना, if some you can say moisture is there, so you should keep ceramic there. ठीक है, जैसे already you have seen the dental implant. Dental implant, which portion has exposure of moisture or some biochemical agent. So that side we should keep ceramic. Okay. And those other material like shape memory or wire and what else?
सेल्फ हीलिंग मटेरियल्स।
Self-healing material. Okay. The what I recall the shape memory or wire, that means why it is called shape memory or wire? Because
the shape is regained, its original shape is regained.
it recall always its shape at particular temperature. Okay, I have seen one demonstration earlier during my PhD. One professor came to our lab. Okay, with shape memory. One wire was straight wire. Okay. Now what he did? Simply he just what turned that, तो क्या बोल सकते हैं, पूरा उसको पॉइंट पॉइंट टाइप का करते हैं, ओके, एंड डिप इनसाइड द आइस वाटर, ओके, देन व्हाट ही डिड आफ्टर few minutes, not more than 1 or 2 minutes, just he took that wire, coiled wire, and just उन्होंने क्या किया, उसको स्ट्रेट किया, ओके। उसके बाद क्या किया, स्ट्रेट करने के बाद वापस वो आइस वाटर में रख दिया, तो जिस शेप में उन्होंने कॉइल किया था वैसा ही होगा, बिकॉज दैट मटेरियल शेप मेमोरी ऑफ वायर दैट रिकॉल the shape of that alloy at particular temperature, okay. So we have seen that experiment, so shape of alloy, but while modeling that shape, because here whatever we have seen in this session, this is we have not considered the phase transformation yet. There you have to take phase transformation. So first you have to check what type of material I am considering, okay. And if I am taking one material where the material is up to the yield point, so whatever the simulation we have seen here so far, it is up to the yield point, not beyond that. Otherwise, the analysis will be on a different side. It will be elastoplastic analysis or finally on the plastic zone, okay. But we haven't captured response on the plastic zone or glass to plastic zone. It is up to elastic zone, right? But if I want to conduct that also, then I need to change the modeling part. आपको फिर इसमें चेंज करना है. You need to work on this. In shape memory also, you need to work on this. The complete constitutive model will be different, correct? Because it is related related to the material, and there you are incorporating the information of material in the material matrix. Okay, so all those information should be here, so that once you develop this constitutive model, which has a relation between stress and strain, it can take the material property of that specific material appropriately. Okay? ये ऐसा हो गया जैसे हम कोई I know Indian English and it will speak in some other language. क्या मैं रिस्पॉन्स कर पाऊंगा? आप कोई दूसरे लैंग्वेज में कुछ जैसे तमिल में आप बोलना शुरू कर दो, तो I spent 2 years in Tamil, कुछ जानना, ठीक है? But if you ask me something in Tamil, I cannot respond. वैसे material का भी होगा, material, yes, characteristic should be there, property should be there. Okay, if you are giving some input, output कैसे मिलेगा? जब तक इसका वो algorithm नहीं होगा, that means property नहीं होगी. Those property should be intact in that model. Okay, otherwise वो एक simple model जैसा, simple model जैसा behave करेगा. Whether it is a shape memory or it is a obsolete memory or any other like some PCB materials. Okay, इसमें जब तक आप electromagnetic वैसे property to capture the response.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
सर जो ये फंक्शनली ग्रेडेड मटेरियल है, इसको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करने का कोई ऐसा प्रोसेस जिसमें हम लोग
Yeah, also we are already in the era of industry 4.0 or 5.0. So I think most of you are aware of 3D printing. Now, 4D printing. 3D printing, 4D printing. Okay. So by using that 3D printing or any additive manufacturing technique, if you want to fabricate one directional FGM, the simple technique is the powder metallurgy, or you can take centrifugal casting. Just import for 2 different metal and but just check the melting point of this. Otherwise, what will happen? And here, in starting, I mentioned two parts of composite. One is fiber and second is matrix. So here in metal and ceramic, which part will be the matrix? What should be the matrix element here? Metal. Okay. It will be in the molten form. There, in that you can pour the ceramic, because ceramic will have very high melting point compared to this. Let's say you just take aluminum or alumina ka le lo. Aluminum melting point is I think 600 to 700 degrees Celsius, and alumina Al2O3 it will take its melting point is probably 15 degrees Celsius, 1500 degrees Celsius, almost double. Okay. So suppose if you did with आपने सिरेमिक को पहले मोल्ड कर दिया, उसमें टिक किया, तो ये तो पूरा क्या हो जाएगा? एलॉय हो जाएगा, काइंड ऑफ एलॉय. So this is the basic difference between alloy and composite. Okay, so appropriately you have to choose the material and also what should be the role of the individual ingredients and how. कैसे उसको आप ग्रेड करेंगे? So there are the fabrication point of view, if you say, then first you can target on a very simple method, powder metallurgy method, to fabricate this type of specifically for the ZFG, where the properties are varying in a particular thickness direction, in one direction only. Few people, researchers are what they are doing, they are simply taking 5 or 10 strips of different composition. Strip, like let's say if the thickness of the plate is 10 mm, okay, one meter square plate is there and thickness is 10 plate sheet. Right? You can prepare 10 different sheets of thickness 1 mm each. One sheet, the bottom sheet will be of pure metal. Then next sheet will be, let's say, 80% metal, 20% ceramic. Third sheet 60-40. Like that. Just very last sheet will be of 100% ceramic. And just stick together. You can do hot press कर सकते हैं. Treatment करके direct press, hot press कर सकते हैं. Truly speaking, I have been not exposed in that way in fabrication side. But in future, definitely I will make it.
We can maintain the ratio of.
You can, and in a 3D printer, what I mentioned, we can have multiple nozzles. We can control the speed of the nozzle. So that flow rate, metal flow rate, you can, then you will have a common container. Few papers are there related to that.
Good morning, sir. Nice presentation, sir. My question is from the quantum materials.
Quantum material.
Yeah, we are using the smart material in the quantum materials. So how it is same process, same method, and same process applicable? No.
For quantum, because here whatever you have seen is, you can say, it is a mathematical approach. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I am correct or not. Okay. So you have to go beyond the micro.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Nanos can also be done.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Or you have, I think, heard about MD simulation.
Yeah.
So have you checked whether it is possible with MD simulation or multiple dynamic simulation?
Yeah, obviously,
So
sir.
possibly that will be the simulation method for this quantum.
Yes.
But I like to collaborate with anyone of the researchers or academia because they are doing on modeling side, specifically model modeling and then further for solution. So I have fixed my one area, like this is my area and I will go like in that way.
Yes.
Because we are now in the interdisciplinary transdisciplinary era. With the social studies also we are collaborating with respect to in context with our interest.
Thank you, sir.
So one more question, sir. Sir, for the fabricated materials or the composites, the main problem is defects.
Yes.
And that will affect the structure as well as the tensile strength and everything. But in all the simulation where that is not considered, how can we incorporate those, how it will affect? Because for the defects, we cannot specify which kind of defect we generate or in which direction or in which
Yes.
place.
So very relevant question because how we will include the defect here. I will take this example only. So whenever we prepare any material, always there will be manufacturing defects. Manufacturing science so in modeling, we can mimic those defects. The present formulation, you will not see the porosity effect, but one of my PhD student already he completed his work project. He included porosity effect also in his modeling only. Okay, and those porosity may be uniform, may be distributed, or may be random. Correct? Because we cannot confirm whether that always those porosity or voids will be in regular pattern. Okay, so that random pattern also we can consider here, and also we can take the defects in particular direction. Suppose I am grading the material in X direction, I can take the defects in X direction also. drugs, I can incorporate the porosity.
Sir, one more thing means porosity is one part, but for ceramics, micro crack is the most difficult part to use. And that cracks, if there are micro cracks, it will grow faster. Energies will be there.
Yeah.
So in that case, how will it mean? Because there are different kind of defects in ceramics and metals. Metals have different kind of defects, and ceramics has totally different kind of defects. So can it be incorporated in the same formula?
What I remember that few researchers have done that also. Specifically, they incorporated the cracks with internal cracks,
Yeah,
composite with internal cracks. That simulation also they performed. Okay, but in our lab we haven't approached that track. So far, we developed a model where the properties can vary in any direction. Okay, highly heterogeneous, including the porosity. Okay, and exposing to different type of conditions, environmental conditions. We can also we have taken moisture, temperature, and mechanical, that pressure. So it's like if you want to make your model real, then you have to take all those parameters. Okay, if I say linear equation, in reality there is no linear equation. It is always you find the response of any material, always it will be non-linear. But for the simplification, we say it is a linear. We just revise the model for the simplification. Okay. So that's why generally what we do, always in the modeling side, always we start with the linear model and try to extend that linear model to the non-linear model. And then you can check, let's say for mechanical load, if I test the model for 1 kilonewton, 2 kilonewton, 3 kilonewton, 4 kilonewton, maybe the linear model and non-linear model will be same up to 10 kilonewton. After that, you can change the, you can see the deviation. Okay, softening or hardening behavior, what we call. It may on higher side, it may on lower side. Yeah. So those non-linearity also we try to, we already incorporate, and we check up to what load value the linear model is okay, and where you have to incorporate the non-linear model. Because every time if I take the non-linear model, then unnecessary your model will be very, like, it will be bulky, you can say, and it's a cost, computational cost will be more in that case, because at the end we are relying on the computational facility we have. If you have a high performance computing facility with you, it's okay. Otherwise with the system, the regular computer desktop system, sometimes it's very difficult to run the non-linear model. We struggle in that also. Okay, if you talk about the product, then look is important. If you talk about the material, it is different, because it is in the raw form. You can take the materials, you can take the element, and you make a complete product component. Okay. After, because in product development, two criteria is very important. One is ergonomics, and second is the aesthetic, that look of the component. And ergonomics that connect the both the function and the easiness. Okay. And any question? Anyway, any one of you can approach me to mail. response you are giving. Okay? And specifically the faculty members or researcher, those who are willing to contribute to proper collaboration, we can plan. Okay, thank you. You could see few faces somehow. I tried to change the pace and सोचा कि ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, so कुछ slides तो मैंने उसी लिए बहुत टाइम ले लिया. So just to have those information, इसीलिए हम slides में कर देते हैं. Otherwise, we also avoid those mathematics most of the time. Okay. And mostly those slides are for the specific audience, not for all. You can take overview of this topic or session, and as per your requirement, you can just think. Okay. You have some expertise of different area. I have some expertise of different area. Someone will have. So it's just like whether I need this support or not, or whether I should conduct this research from my end or not. So that is the purpose of all this session. Okay. Thank you again.
For this interactive and elaborative session. Now I request Dr. Sailesh Kumar sir, Associate Professor, School of Engineering, kindly felicitate Vishesh Ranjan sir.
अभी गैप हो गया
Thank you once again sir. Thank you
फाइल
so
ट्रांसफर
much.
करके आ जा